These group weren't striking for Nominee. They were striking for the lifeline for the community.
Before the strike, I was your typical stay-at-home mum with 4 children. When the strike started, there was a core of women who really wanted to get on and support the men, because not only supporting the men, you were supporting your community, because you knew once the pits had gone, that would be it. There would be no work, and no work for young people coming up.
Well, for me personally, I got married in 1980, and so we'd been married almost 4 years when my husband went on strike.
So can you imagine living for 12 months without any income coming in?
28 quid a week for me and 4 children. My husband had nothing, although he did say to me at one point, whose strike is his, mine or yours? Because I think I was out more than he was out. But I think the police didn't know what to do with us either, because they weren't used to women standing there with a big group in front of them and, barging through like.
Well, my name is Pat Newton, and I have been a nurse all my life. And at the time of the strike, I was a night sister at Caerphilly Miners Hospital. A lot of people became very depressed, not being able to meet their bills. And of course, we didn't have any accidents coming in, so the wards weren't quite as busy.
Television had to go back, because in those days you rented a television. You were very lucky if you bought a television.
Their objective, they are the enemy within.
We had a car, but we couldn't run the car. Christmas time I thought was going to be difficult. In fact, it turned out to be okay, because we had parcels in from abroad, from different countries, Russia, France. There was money donated from Getty, I can't remember his first name now.
My major job really was counting money, banking it, writing the cheques. At the point, I think I had about £35,000 in cash underneath a spare bed.
But I know a couple of the doctors actually gave the whole month's salary towards the fund.
I went to the institute, and there was the main hall was full, and I mean full of clothes that had been sent over from abroad.
I've actually got a photograph of how many pints of milk and loaves of bread you can get in a mini metro. Those of you will remember what a mini metro looks like. And they get packed into those and then sent out to the distribution centres. There'd been a collection of money for us. Somebody had gone up to speak to these people to get it. And they were a little bit new age and were absolutely mortified that striking miners were giving their children unrefined sugar. Sorry, refined sugar, not unrefined sugar.
I was off going here, going there, to rallies and events, and up country I was going up to Nottinghamshire, support the women up there, because they went through a terrible time, nothing like we went through. It was awful for them, because a lot of the men had gone back to work there. The police come round with the pit manager pointing out to the houses where we were all staying. We were herded the following morning into a field. We weren't allowed anywhere near the colliery because we used to go picketing. I mean, the people we fell out with were people like the local news agent, who wouldn't give any support. And after the strike, they went under. Nobody would buy a newspaper in there. The morning the men went back to work, the women's group marched in front of the men with the banner and marched them down the hill into the colliery. And I went home then, it was about 6:30 in the morning, and I just stood in the kitchen and thought, what am I going to do now?
There's always good comes out of bad somewhere. I mean, we weren't going to win that strike. Thatcher would have sunk this country before she'd have let us win that strike. And
one by one they went. My husband worked in 3 pits altogether, and he finished in Penalta Colliery, and he was absolutely heartbroken. He cried when he came home. And so I applied to go to university to be a social worker, and that's what I did. And I know I would never have done that if it hadn't been for the strike.
And I think a lot of these people wanted to use their newfound skills, and that is where the idea of the Dev Workshop came from. The miners' libraries were important, as were the old reading rooms and that sort of thing, because certainly in the South Wales valleys there is a tradition of education. It was either through the chapels or through the miners' libraries. My dad would have gone without to buy me a book.
It was massive, and we've seen massive changes here. The Brecon Railway, I'm sure you're aware of that. So they're taking the child along for a Christmas treat, and he wanted to know what the black stuff was on the tender on the train.
Co-formed our lives, Co was the king and Co was the prize. Strike began, the battle lines were drawn. Mum's gone out, our old life is gone. Women gathering, holding their signs against the closing of so many minds. Women take new jobs, renew expectation, changing their lives and the life of the nation. Co-formed the valleys, co-formed our lives. Co was the king and Co was the prize.